How do walkie talkies work? Hi, welcome to Curious Kids Every Day. I'm Josh. How are you doing today? It's so good to hear from you. Hey, has your family ever used walkie talkies before? Do you know what a walkie talkie is? It's a little device that you hold in your hand and you press a button and you can talk to somebody who also has a walkie talkie. Now, you might be thinking, isn't that basically just a phone? And yes, it is a lot like a phone. And we definitely used walkie-talkies a lot more before we had cell phones. But they're still really cool. And really useful too. I remember being a kid and taking walkie-talkies to the mall so we could go to stores by ourselves, but still keep track of where mom and dad were. You still see people on job sites using walkie-talkies. And you may have walkie-talkies that you and your siblings use when you're playing outside. I was thinking about walkie-talkies today because I got a question from a kid in the Curious Kids Club named Ryan. Ryan was curious.
Hi Josh, my name is Ryan and I want to know how the walkie-talkies work.
Oh, and Eleonora is in the Curious Kids Club too. She was curious.
How do walkie-talkies work?
Walkie-talkies are actually just little radios. When you speak into a walkie-talkie, a tiny microphone inside turns your voice into electrical signals. The walkie-talkie then uses those signals to create something called radio waves. Radio waves are a type of energy that can travel through the air. They're all around us. Radios, televisions, garage door openers, cell phones, they all use radio waves. The walkie-talkie sends radio waves out through an antenna. Do you know what an antenna is? I'm sure you've noticed one before. An antenna is a piece of metal that sticks out from a device. It often looks like a thin rod or a telescoping metal pole that can extend and collapse. Or sometimes it's a short, rubber-covered stick. I've noticed that on the walkie-talkies that we get for our kids, a lot of times it's just a little short, rubber-covered stick. The radio waves race through the air until they reach another walkie-talkie that is listening on the same channel. See, just because you have a walkie-talkie turned on doesn't mean it's going to hear everything that is coming through another walkie-talkie somewhere nearby. Both walkie-talkies have to be on the same channel. But what is a channel? Well, a channel is simply a specific radio frequency. If you've ever had the opportunity to use an old radio before, you may have gotten to play with a little knob, a little circle that you can spin, called a tuner. When you turn it, it makes the radio make this noise.
The white zone is for immediate.
What you're doing is tuning into different radio frequencies in the air. Every radio station on the radio broadcasts at a specific frequency. So if your family ever listens to the radio in the car, you might have noticed the numbers on the display. It might have said something like 90.3 or 101.1. When I worked at a radio station in college, our radio frequency was 89.1. So if anyone in the Nashville, Tennessee area tuned their radio to 89.1, they'd hear me coming over the radio waves. So both walkie-talkies have to be tuned into the same channel or radio frequency in order to communicate with each other. Let's say you're tuned into channel 5 on the walkie-talkie. You press a button to begin broadcasting at that frequency. The microphone turns your voice into an electrical signal, and the antenna transmits those radio waves through the air at that specific radio frequency. If your friend has their walkie-talkie turned on and tuned in to channel 5, they'll hear your voice. Their walkie-talkie's antenna receives the signal, then the walkie-talkie changes the radio waves into electrical waves, and then a speaker turns those signals back into sound that you can hear. And just like that, your friend's walkie-talkie plays your voice. And this all happens almost instantaneously. Isn't that crazy? Now, I mentioned a button you have to press in order to talk into a walkie-talkie. Do you want to know what that button is? It's called a push-to-talk button. Most walkie-talkies can either send a message or receive a message, but they usually can't do both at the same time. When you hold down the button, your walkie-talkie switches into sending mode. When you let it go, it switches back into listening mode. That's why people often say, over, when they're finished talking. They're letting the other person know it's their turn to speak. Now, the distance a walkie-talkie can reach depends on several things. Power lines, buildings, hills, trees, even mountains can block radio waves. Two people standing on opposite sides of a large hill, they may have trouble hearing each other. But if both people are standing in open areas with a clear path between them, the signal can travel much, much farther. But some powerful walkie-talkies can communicate for several miles under good conditions. But walkie-talkies are normally what we call short range. They're meant for talking to people nearby you. And this is why they're so helpful to construction workers, or security teams, or campers, or hikers, or event staff, or emergency responders, because they're easy to use and they don't need a cell phone tower to work. And another convenient thing about walkie-talkies is that more than two people can communicate together. Anyone with a walkie-talkie tuned into the right frequency in a small area, they can all communicate together. So here's what's happening when you use a walkie-talkie. Your voice is being turned into radio waves, flying through the air, and then being turned back into sound on the other end. As long as you're both tuned into the same frequency, the walkie-talkies will work. Over. Okay, let's have a quick quiz and see what we learned today. What kind of waves do walkie-talkies use to send messages? They use radio waves. And what part of a walkie-talkie picks up your voice? The microphone. And what is a channel? It's a specific radio frequency that walkie-talkies use to communicate. And what happens when you press the push-to-talk button? The walkie-talkie switches into sending mode. Let's play true or false. True or false? Most walkie-talkies can send and receive messages at the exact same time. Nope, that's false. True or false? Buildings and hills can affect how well a walkie-talkie works. That is true. True or false? Walkie-talkies need a cell phone tower to work. Nope, that's false. That's one of the best things about them. Would you rather use walkie-talkies while camping in the woods or while exploring a huge museum? I would love to go camping in the woods sometime, and walkie-talkies would definitely be a must, so I'll choose using walkie-talkies while camping in the woods. Okay, let's play a quick round of What Am I? What am I? I travel quickly. You cannot see me. And I'm the type of wave that makes a walkie-talkie work. What am I? I am radio waves. I realized that this what am I could have also been sound waves because sound waves travel quickly. You can't see sound waves, and they are a type of wave that makes a walkie-talkie work because without the sound waves, without your voice going into the walkie-talkie to begin with, you wouldn't be able to hear a voice on the other end. So it could be sound waves too. Walkie-talkies are really just small radios. When you hear a radio station, that's a really powerful signal being sent out to an entire city. A walkie-talkie signal is much, much weaker. That's why it can't travel as far. When you talk into a walkie-talkie, a microphone turns your voice into electrical signals. The walkie-talkie converts that signal into radio waves and sends them through the air. Another walkie-talkie receives the radio waves, assuming it's tuned into the right frequency, and it changes them back into sound so someone else can hear your voice. Radio waves were one of the biggest discoveries in human history. There are lots of amazing projects all around the world that were made possible because people could quickly communicate using walkie-talkies. Pretty amazing. What kind of question do you think we'll ask tomorrow on Curious Kids Every Day? I can't wait to find out, so until then, keep asking questions and stay curious, kids. And we've got some birthdays today. Happy birthday to Zach from Nevada, who's turning 7. Happy birthday, Zach. Austin from New Jersey is turning 6. Happy birthday, Austin. Jack from Maine is turning 2. Happy birthday, Jack. Tone from Queensland, Australia is turning 8. Happy birthday, Tone. Oswin from Brisbane, Australia is turning 7. Happy birthday, Oswin. Josie from Utah is turning 8. Happy birthday, Josie. Haven from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania is turning 7. Happy birthday, Haven. Arlo from Florida is turning 5. Happy birthday, Arlo. Jude from California is turning 5. Happy birthday, Jude. Rhea from California is turning 4. Happy birthday, Rhea. Archie from New Zealand is turning 4. Happy birthday, Archie. And Robin Rose from Indonesia is turning 6. Happy birthday, Robin Rose. To all the grown-ups listening, if your curious kid wants their birthday mentioned on the show, please visit supportcuriouskids.com and join the Curious Kids Club. That's supportcuriouskids.com. See you tomorrow.